With self-tapes, the frame is so close that the camera catches everything. If you're searching for your lines, it'll show, and it pulls you out of the moment. The challenge is most actors get an audition with almost no time to prep, and then spend most of that time just trying to get off book. That leaves very little room for real script work, scene analysis, and making the kind of choices that elevate your performance. Now, after nearly 20 years of memorizing sides for film and television auditions, I've learned that the faster you get off book, the stronger your work becomes. So, in this video, I'll walk you through a few techniques to help you lock in those lines fast and free yourself up to actually just act. It's important to remember that the film and television industry is incredibly competitive. The baseline for submitting a strong audition is knowing your lines so well that it feels like you're saying them for the very first time. Now, if acting is reacting, then having your lines down gives you the freedom to truly listen and respond, to absorb what's happening in the moment, instead of just standing there waiting for your turn to speak. Now, I believe that the best time to focus on memorization is after you've broken down the script. Doing proper script analysis helps you find the beats, understand the relationship to the other characters, and get a clear sense of what's actually happening in the scene. So, break down your auditions first. Trust me, by the time you've done that work, a good chunk of your lines will already be there. Now, I have another video on script analysis along with a free guide you can download that I will link in the show notes below. After you've broken down your script, try the 20-20-20 method. This one is simple enough, but requires you to devote 2 hours of time to it. You'd go over your sides for 20 minutes, then repeat that twice more. The trick with this is you have to repeat the process within 30 minutes to encode it into your long-term memory. So set aside 2 hours, work on your lines for 20 minutes, then take a half-hour break to do anything else. Just make sure that after 30 minutes, you get right back to working on your script. Do this 2 more times and you'll be surprised how much of your lines actually stick. With memorization, repetition is key. Our brain is a muscle we have to continuously keep flexing to make stronger, and the 20-20-20 method helps you put in those reps. You can also try simply writing your lines down. I like to memorize one chunk at a time, and I won't move on until I write that chunk down perfectly. I'll know I'm ready when I can write all of the lines down on a piece of paper without having to reference the script. Now, there are tons of studies out there that say using pen and paper instead of laptops to take notes boosts memory and the ability to retain and understand concepts by like 40%. Another thing I like to do is to put in breath marks into my script. I'll put a dash anywhere I would naturally take a breath and when a thought is complete. This helps break down dense pieces of dialogue and makes them more digestible. It's also really helpful to run your lines with someone else. This can be in person, over Zoom, or on the phone. Now, I try and make sure I'm as close to being off book as possible before running it with someone because I want to be as respectful of their time as possible. If you can't find someone to run the lines with, you can also record your other character's lines on your phone and run the scene with yourself. There are tons of helpful apps out there that you can find that'll make that process a lot simpler. Now, the best piece of advice I've ever gotten in regards to memorizing lines is to start early and to move. Our minds are the freshest in the morning, and it's easiest to retain new information then. So I'll grab my scene first thing, get a cup of coffee, and go for a walk. Movement enhances memory. There's a strong connection between physical activity and cognitive function. And when applied to line memorization, it can completely transform the way we retain and recall information. Physical activity increases oxygen and nutrient delivery to the brain, which in turn enhances cognitive functions like focus, attention, and memory. When you move, whether walking, stretching, or going to the gym while memorizing your lines, you've given your brain the fuel it needs to form and strengthen new neural connections. Now, another great method is to write out the first letter of every word in your script. This creates an acronym you can follow that leaves specific cues for your brain to pick up and connect to the actual words. Now, you also want to do things that work out your brain daily, like reading, memorizing scenes or monologues when you don't have to, or playing memory games on your phone. They'll all help over time in improving your memory. Again, the brain is like a muscle that we have to keep working out like any other muscle in our bodies. Regardless of what method works best for you, a great test to see if you truly have your lines down is to run them while staring into a mirror and not breaking eye contact with yourself. Now, I don't know the science behind this one, but it's extremely beneficial. There's something about looking into your own eyes and not breaking eye contact while rehearsing that's incredibly hard. But if you can do this, you'll be more than ready to go when it's time to tape. And finally, just take the pressure off. Yes, you want to feel confident and do the work you have to get your lines down, but remember, it's not a line memorization contest. Casting isn't looking for the best memorizer, they're looking for the best actor for the role. So keep your sides nearby while you tape as a reminder that this isn't a finished product, and as long as you walk in there with a strong understanding of the scene and clear, grounded choices, you'll free yourself up to have fun and discover new moments. Knowing your lines gets you out of your head and into the present moment. It shows a level of preparation, professionalism, and confidence. And in this industry, a confident actor is an artist worth remembering.